So as I'm sure many of you may already know, I really enjoy growing massive sunflowers, and over the years of doing so, or at least attempting to do so, I've seen my sunflowers killed and maimed in more ways than I'd care to remember. So, going through all of this, I have, developed over this time this system of protecting them, as you can see with this net structure here, and I actually uploaded a tutorial on how to make this little structure here. I'll put that link in the description, but I wanted to further demonstrate some of the things I covered in that video. The first of which being what to do when your sunflower reaches the top of your enclosure. Oh, geez, so, yeah. You're staying out for the rest of this video, bud. Almost crushed her there. So, as I was saying, I mentioned a few things in my tutorial that I wanted to further demonstrate. One of those things is what to do when your sunflower reaches the top of your enclosure. I know I talked about, cutting the top piece of netting out, but of course I want to show what I actually mean by that. So this is my mammoth gray stripe, which isn't really quite there yet to the top. It's doing really well, but it's not that tall yet. But here is my American Giant, which actually, here the leaf is sort of pressed up against here. This isn't damage from that or anything. I really don't know what happened here. The leaf just kind of grew in this like curled fashion. But anyway, so if you just take a simple pair of scissors, they don't have to be like hedge clippers or anything, just like paper scissors, and just go around following, following where you have the stakes. It doesn't have to be perfectly circular. As long as you're following the general pattern of where you have your stakes, leaving a little bit hooked onto the stake so that a wall still remains when you cut the top off. And cut until you just have a few strands of plastic left there so that it acts as a hinge and you can like tip that back as a lid, and this your plant is now free to grow upwards. And at nighttime or whenever you're concerned about predators, just plop the lid over. For me it's pretty much all the time I'm concerned, but especially like at night and in the morning when birds are really active in the morning. But at least I have this 5-foot fence around the whole garden. Like in the front yard I do not have this. So what I do there is I actually disregard this completely. I cut a much bigger piece. I drape it over the top at night. And obviously with this wall around the bottom so like rabbits can't come up and get it and stuff like that. You can also leave the remaining wall net up for the sunflower's entire life. This is short enough to where when the leaves get this wide, it will easily be taller than the little netting wall here. So this basically just keeps the stalk safe. And I mean, I've had some crazy experiences here. I had last year in this spot, not last year, 2 years ago, I had a Mongolian Giant, and when it was about 10 feet tall and very sturdy and thick at the bottom of the stalk, rabbits actually managed to get in here. They managed to slip under the fence and they thrashed and maimed the stalk. They didn't really harm the sunflower or, come close to killing it or cutting it down, but they very aggressively scratched and gnawed at the base of my sunflower. I'm like, what the hell? So now I leave this wall up, or if I don't do this, I at least like bunch up some netting around the bottom. You could even leave the lid on the sunflower as long as it's cut. Just let the sunflower grow and push it off of itself. This method is also easily applicable to pots, big and small. As you can see, I just took my stakes and put them in the potting soil around the perimeter of the pot, or up against it, and you just drape the netting over this as you would on the ground. I also taped it down with some duct tape around it and left an opening just to make sure it's completely secure and doesn't blow up and blow away or anything like that. In here I actually have some chocolate cherry sunflowers growing, which should be really interesting. This is a pretty big pot too. So yeah, this is pretty easy to do. Exact same strategy for setting it up as you would do in the ground. Yeah, so that's it guys. I just wanted to go a little bit more in depth now that I have this system down a bit more thoroughly. So yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Take care guys.